Hello, how's everybody doing today? This is Rich Harshaw. We're back just here half hour ago, but here we are on our next webinar. And this is our Insider Open Forum. So thank you for participating on that. We've got two attendees today who have submitted different questions. The first one is from Carla or Tracy over at Bale Home Remodeling. Bale Home Services. I'm going to put Tracy on the line. Oh, Tracy. Okay, we're going to need to get you on a phone instead of on a voice over IP. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So if you can get on a phone, we will talk to you shortly. And Judy, if you can make that happen, I would appreciate it. Let me just double check. All right, we'll get that taken care of. Yeah, the voice over IP, the microphone thing does not work well for whatever reason. So we'll go to number two. We'll come back to you, Tracy. Number two, I believe, is David. And I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. David, are you there?
Hey, Rich.
What's going on? Long time no see. It's been, what, a week?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Well, thanks for coming to training last week. That was exhausting, but it was a good time.
Oh yeah, no, I learned a lot. I mean, it's just I had a brain full. It's like taking a drink from a fire hose.
Now I see that you were on the webinar twice. Is that because Lois is also on?
Correct.
Okay, I'm not going to unmute her because she, according to my information, is on a microphone, and those don't work well.
Right.
Is that okay?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, so why don't you tell me what we're talking about here today? I've got an email from Judy, but why don't you just give me the skinny here?
My company has changed directions. We used to be an air duct cleaning company. Now we do mold removal, and the company name was Valor Cleaning originally, and I kept it through the years, and it's just not relevant. You know, we get phone calls for do we clean houses? You know, I tell people we do mold removal, and they don't. You know, it's just a disconnect there where, you know, between Valor Cleaning and mold removal. So my question is, you know, the problem is I have a lot of reviews on Angie's List and on Yelp, and you know, the company identity as far as what people search for online is built around the original name. So, you know, I'll just look.
I don't mean people that know about you might search for Valor Cleaning, but the majority of people that are going to come looking for you are looking for mold remediation, which is what you truly sell, are going to be searching for mold. I think if you could go ahead and switch over as you build and implement a new website to Valor, what would you want to potentially be called? Valor Mold Remediation?
Yeah, something along those lines. I thought about that, but it doesn't really sound smooth, so I wanted to have something more pleasing to the ear. But yeah, something along those lines.
Well, I mean, you're dealing in mold, okay? It's not like it needs to sound like I don't know what sounds pleasing to the ear. Something that sounds pleasing to the ear. I mean, I think that it would be smart for you to have a name that describes what you do. And, you know, I can see that you've got this disconnect of people wanting you to do other types of cleaning that you're really not interested, really essentially wasting your time.
Right.
So let's look at the downside to changing your name. First of all, we're not going to change the word Valor. We're just going to change the cleaning part, potentially, right?
Correct.
Excuse me. That being said, I don't really think you're going to have a huge disconnect with people saying, well, I know this company called Valor Cleaning, but I, you know, need some mold remediation, and here's this company called Valor Mold Remediation. Surely that's different, and I'm uncomfortable with the fact that it's not the exact same. I just don't really see that being an issue. Do you see that being an issue?
I don't. My thing is, you know, we get a lot of work from Angie's List and stuff, and I don't know. And I haven't tried yet to say, hey, you know, can I move my reviews from this company name over to, you know, this new one, and link that.
But here's what you're not going to do. You're not going to change to a different company. You're just going to change the name of the company, right?
Right.
Okay. What is the official? What kind of business structure is it? Is it an LLC or a S corp or what is it?
Yeah, S corp.
S corp. Okay. And is it Valor Cleaning Corporation then?
Yeah, Valor Cleaning Inc.
Okay, Valor Cleaning Inc. You know what you could do? You could leave it as that and then do a DBA, Valor Mold Remediation, or Valor Mold Services, and you could just go by the second without changing the name. You could just add a DBA.
Okay.
That's what we do. Our company is called Think Rich LLC. We're an LLC, not an S corp, and we DBA monopolize your marketplace. So if somebody writes a check to Think Rich LLC, we can put it in the bank. If they write it to monopolize your marketplace, we can put it in the bank. On our checks, it says Think Rich LLC, DBA monopolize your marketplace. But you don't even have to put the original company if you don't want. You can just put the DBA. You don't have to go around making that distinction for people all the time. You don't have to say, hey, it's a DBA. You can just literally do business as it. So that might be a shortcut, and you might be able to go over to Angie's List and say, hey, look, we're a DBA, and here's what it is. I think any reasonable, logical person at Angie's List or elsewhere is going to say, oh, it appears that you're trying to narrow the focus of what your company does by modifying your company name. Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
In other words, this change has the appearance of walking towards something as opposed to running away from something, if you know what I mean.
I got you.
You see what I'm saying? And I think a logical, rational person is going to see that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think the doing business as is a whole lot easier instead of having to change, the official corporate name and all that, paying attorneys for all that stuff.
In Texas, I can't speak for Florida, but Virginia. What state in Virginia?
Yeah.
I can't speak for Virginia, but in Texas, you have to fill out a form. You have to go down to the city clerk's office. You have to give them a check. I think it's something like $22. That's it. That's it. Then you can go over to the bank and say, here's our DBA certificate, and I'd like to add this onto our account so that it's official, so that you're all square with the banking people. Then boom, that's it. You're done.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll check that out and see what that entails. I mean, Virginia is pretty business friendly, so I can't imagine it's terrible to do.
Now, from a marketing standpoint, I really think this is a good idea. I really do. It's such a niche thing. Right. As long as you've got the word mold in there, if you want it to be mold services or mold remediation or, something like that, I think it would be fine. Mold remediation, I think, while it may not sound as pretty as you want it to, I think it is extraordinarily descriptive.
Right. Well, I didn't want to do mold remediation because I didn't want, most people don't know what that means. So I was hoping to do like Valor mold removal because that's pretty self-explanatory.
The word remediation is not a word that people wouldn't say, I need mold remediation. Right. But if they see the word, they're going to understand it in the context. But the word removal, that's more plain English, so that's good. I would use that one. It's a good word. Valor mold removal. Boom. Guy's going to look at that and go, I'll bet they remove mold.
Right.
Whereas cleaning, you're right. They're going to come vacuum my carpet. What are they going to do? Clean my blinds?
Exactly.
I'd go for it. I really would. And it's a good time now. I think your logo can be very, very easily modified.
Right.
The website is just now being written, and it'll be produced here soon. So I try to work that all out before the website gets built so you don't have to go back and correct it later.
Right. That makes sense. Okay.
All right, that's it. That's all I got for you on that. Anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, no, that's it for me, man.
Okay, well, it's good to talk to you again, and we will talk to you next time. Thanks, David.
Thanks, Rich. Bye.
All right, now let's go back over to Mr. Bale. And Tracy, I see you're there, but I see you're still on voice over IP. Can you hear me?
Rich, can you hear me?
I can, and it actually sounds normal. So even though you haven't dialed in on a phone, it still sounds fine.
Yeah, I'm on a phone. I dialed in.
Oh, okay. Well, it shows you being on a microphone. Regardless, the first time I tried to unmute you, it sounded like chaos in a can.
Yep.
Okay, so what's going on? We're going to talk about your home that you're going to resurrect. Is that right?
Right. Got a house that was abandoned from a fire in a great neighborhood, and wanted to kind of show the area what we do, the type of remodeling and the quality of remodeling we do, and kind of bring this thing back to life.
Okay, so tell me what your thoughts are as a starting point of kind of what you're hoping to accomplish, and then we'll explore it from there. Okay.
Well, what I'm hoping to accomplish is maybe have some yard signs that would kind of project an open house or a leading up to something that would add some suspense to people. Okay, this is coming, and you know, it's to kind of get that anticipation of what's coming.
Is there anything inherently remarkable about the house, or is it just a typical house in a typical neighborhood?
It's a nice home in a great neighborhood. So it would be an upscale neighborhood and an upscale home.
Okay, but within that neighborhood, is it remarkable or is it typical?
Typical.
Okay, and is it very visibly damaged from the outside, or can you not tell from the outside?
Very visually damaged. I'd sent you some pictures. I don't know if you have those.
I probably do. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, I do. Here, let me go ahead. Sorry, I didn't realize I had these. Let me put these over here on the screen so everybody can see them.
We just added this into our newsletter that we send out to past customers. It's going out at the end of the month. This was in the newsletter.
Okay. Bail to the rescue, Pheasant Ridge, Bristol, Indiana. So this tarp is covering where a fire damaged it, is that right?
The tarp is covering what's left of where the utility room, the three-car garage is entirely gone. It's entirely burned down.
I'm looking at this three-car garage here. Is this on the side as you look at from the front?
The one where you see the firemen is right directly what you'd see up that driveway right there. So it's entirely.
Well, my question is, are the garage doors on the left side of the house, or are they on the front of the house?
They're on the front.
Okay.
So the bottom picture is at an angle. You can see the curved window there in the bottom picture.
All right. So this picture with the tarp is showing what they put up this Tyvek or whatever after the firemen left, right?
Actually, that part of the garage got entirely taken down. So you're seeing the tarp is actually behind that garage because the garage is gone now.
I see. It's not even there. Okay.
No.
Now there's another set of photos here. Should I open that one?
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. How long has this thing been sitting there like this?
7 months.
Okay, so the neighbors are well aware, and they're probably starting to wonder, you know, is it ever going to get fixed, right?
Correct.
Or, you know, has the house been abandoned or something like that? So that's an interesting thing for the neighbors. So my biggest question is, what can we do to take advantage of this process beyond just the immediate neighborhood?
Correct.
Because that's, I mean, you can do stuff for the neighborhood, and they're going to notice if we put signs in the yard, if we put flyers on the neighbors' houses all around, you know, they're going to notice that, and they're going to appreciate the fact that somebody's coming in, and whatever we want them to know about it, hey, you know, we're taking this on as a project, whatever, they'll like it, and it'll be positive. But I wonder what we can do to expand the opportunity beyond just the local neighbors. Think about this for a minute. Now, your idea here is that what do you plan on doing to the house specifically?
You're going to rebuild it and
from the ground up, or from the inside out, or mostly, or all the way, or partially, or what?
Well, it's going to resemble what it looks like now. It's going to just be completely redone and rebuilt, and you know, as a remodel project.
Okay, but here, let's get a little more specific. I'm just trying to wrap my arms around this. Are you going to replace all? You're going to replace all the windows of the whole house, all the carpet of the whole house, or just focus more on the? Is the side that's not directly burned also damaged very badly? Give me an idea.
Correct. It's all needs to be gutted inside, and so the house is basically complete remodel from top to bottom.
And then your idea is you're going to remodel it and then sell it?
Correct. I just want to use it as a marketing tool. It's a real upscale neighborhood, and the neighbors have to be, you know, very upset that this house has been sitting there for 7 months and nobody's done anything. And they called me and said that, would you have interest in this house? We know that you do significant remodeling. We know you do the quality remodeling.
Who said that?
In this house? Pardon?
Who said that? The owner?
Well, it was a realtor that's a friend of the owners. The owners were elderly and they didn't know what to do, and they're just going to move out of the area. They just didn't. They were confused, didn't know what to do. And
I see.
this was the first I got contact at this point, and so our trucks have never been there. We've never had a sign out, and so we wanted to look like the coming to the rescue.
When are you going to start building this? When are you going to start building it?
Within the next month, March.
And how long is it going to take to finish, do you estimate?
Well, there's a remodeler showcase that's part of our area, and that's in June, the end of June. So I thought if I'd started in March, we got it done by the end of June, we could kind of piggyback on theirs as well as doing something on our own.
Okay, so you've got essentially 3-ish months to do the job?
Correct.
Okay, so here's what I would probably recommend that you do. I know that we just worked with you to buy some radio there in the market. There was a couple of stations. You may want to consider going on the other station as well, because I think this would be an interesting thing to do, is to document this step by step and post things on your website on a consistent basis and then talk about it on the radio commercials. Now, we got to think through exactly how that would work. But I think it would be pretty interesting to say, hey, you know, we've got this house that burned down in this particular neighborhood, ostensibly a neighborhood that when you said it on the radio in that area, people would say, okay, I know where that is, or I have at least an idea.
Right.
And, you know, we've got to find an interesting way to talk about this so we can say, hey, we're going to keep you up to date on what we're doing. Check out the progress of this house online. We've just completed X. You know, go see the pictures, you know, and let them stay connected, and we can create these ads and just sort of walk them through the progress as it progresses and start to build web traffic there. Now, as we do these commercials, let's say it's a 60-second commercial, what we need to do is do a little bit of an update on the commercial, and then we need to have some message about bail so that it's not just strictly, hey, you know, we're building this house, but other things that we want them to know as well. I think this could be very interesting, and I think it could drive some traffic to the website, build some awareness not just for the company but also for this project and what you're doing. And I think that's probably the best way to leverage your current existing things that you're already doing to really get the word out there, because I don't know everything about your town. In fact, I don't know that much about it, but I'm going to just take a couple guesses, and I want you to tell me if I'm right. It's a small enough town that you can reach a pretty good chunk of people on these local radio stations. True or false?
True.
It's a small enough town that people know the town. In other words, they know the different parts of town. They have a good feel for what's going on in the town. I mean, it's a small town, right?
Right.
Small enough town. I don't know how small it is. How many people are in Goshen?
Well, Goshen's about 35,000. This is north of Goshen and Bristol. Bristol, Elkhart area is another 100,000. So Elkhart County is 275,000.
Elkhart County, is Goshen in that same county?
Correct.
Approximately how many high schools are in that county, would you say?
3.
3. Okay, great. That's perfect. I was hoping you would say 2 or 3 and not 8 or 10.
Right.
Okay, well, that gives me a better idea of kind of what we're dealing with there. Yeah, you know, I think what I would do is write some radio commercials for that, and knowing how we're working with you, I think that very literally I will probably end up writing some radio commercials for you on this. But it might not be a bad idea in the case of this project to sort of scope it out and plan it out a little bit in advance. So give me just a brief idea. You don't have to go into a lot of detail, Tracy, but give me an idea over a 3-month period of time, what kinds of things would you do and in what order?
Well, the first order would be to frame a garage and then roof the house so it was dried in, so it was shelled and dried in. And then the second part would be to do mechanicals, plumbing, heating, electrical. And then the next would be the insulation siding and drywall inside. And then you'd have painting, trim, cabinets, final finish, carpet, hardwood floors.
Just making some notes here.
Landscaping, cleanup.
I know that's all second nature to you, but it makes sense to me when you say it, but I probably couldn't have come up with that list in that order without a little prompting there. So are you going to hold an open house throughout the period of remodel where people can come in and actually take a look?
Well, I don't know. That's what I was kind of going over with you. It's I know we'd have a final open house, and whether security or safe, whether it be safe to have an open house during the process or before you even start to show here's what it looks like before.
What's the safety issue? Is there a reason why people can't come in this house? Is it too dangerous?
No, I don't think anything's going to fall. It would just be, is it worthwhile having people in and saying, yeah, this is really bad, or is that important? Is it? Do you get the return on investment having it during where they see, okay, well, here's drywall, yeah, this is drywall, or?
You know what I would, here's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that you announce it on the radio for a couple weeks before. You do some mailers and or some door hangers around the area for a few hundred homes. Right. You invite people to an event to come tour it and take a look at it. And keep your expectations in check, okay? I don't know that a ton of people are just going to show up and say, wow, I've got nothing better to do with my time than go look at you remodel a burned out house. But I think if we make it an ongoing dialogue and a story and giving them updates to the neighborhood and via radio, et cetera, I think it's possible and probable that people will sort of tune in and pay a little bit of attention, even if they don't take the effort to show up. But what you could do is potentially, let's say it's a 12-week program, I might hold an open house once a week for a couple of hours and tell people, hey, come by on Saturday, see the progress. Here's what we've done this week. Hey, if you come by, we'll give you X. I don't know what X is. Maybe we don't want to give something away, but, if you come by, we'll give you, a gift card good towards a remodeling job or, whatever, something. But just give them a little bit of incentive and get people to come by, because you know what? Some people are going to wander.
Would you have professional videos taken throughout the process then that you could use on the website?
I don't know that they even have to be professional. I'm not telling you to take your iPhone out of your pocket and just do it on there.
Carla, I lost him entirely.
What's that?
Hello? Hello?
Hello? I am still there. Can you hear me? Yeah, this is why the microphone doesn't work very good.
It just went dead, the phone.
Is the webinar over?
No, they still have my thing up there. I was talking.
Okay, I've now muted you out. No, I've unmuted you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, where do I go to now?
Well, the phone number was on that first screen. Remember we had that separate phone number?
Do I have to go off of this? Or can I go on telephone right here?
Turn your speaker up once and see if he's still talking.
Hello? I can hear you guys.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Here's what I was saying. I was talking about video, and I was saying I'm not telling you to take your iPhone out of your pocket and go shoot the video with your iPhone, but here's what I'm telling you. You can probably just take your iPhone out of your pocket and go shoot the video with your iPhone.
Okay.
I don't think this has to be super professional. I think what you probably want to do is find somebody there in your office or locally that you can go take 4 or 5 minutes worth of video on camcorder or on an iPhone or something like that, transfer the video footage over to them, have them edit it down a little bit so that it's just got clean cuts and there's not a bunch of wasted time where you're, whatever, walking from one room to another or something. Maybe put some titles on it. By the way, this is all stuff that you can do on an iPad with an app, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not saying, hey, Tracy, you know how to do this. I'm saying it's not that hard to find somebody that knows how to do this.
Got it.
And, yeah, you can make a nice-looking video without hiring some crew to come out and pay them $1,000 to do it.
Then we'd set up a place on the website just for this particular project?
Yeah, I think I would. I would put something on there, Bail to the Rescue, follow the progress of us completely rehabbing the home on Pheasant Ridge in Bristol that was devastated by fire. Click here, and then I would post updates, basically like a blog.
Yeah.
And then, I'm not saying you have Facebook fans or anything like that, but push the message out to whoever you can. I would probably go in to this neighborhood. Let's take a look at this neighborhood. Is it a dense? It looks like there's lots of woods and trees, pretty big lots. Is that true?
Yeah, it's a wooded, nice neighborhood near the river.
Down by the river.
In our area, on a scale of 1 to 10, this would probably be a 9 or 10 neighborhood.
Okay. Well, here's what I would do. I would go in and I would go a reasonable distance around this house, and I would mail them and or door hanger them and let them know what you're doing.
Okay.
I think particularly within this neighborhood, you're going to get a lot of really good play from this thing.
Yep. That was the plan.
And then as you go back later and say things like, hey, we'd like to, maybe you could do some remodeling with us. I'm just trying to look. I'm going to put a map on the screen here. I looked this up. Pheasant Ridge in Bristol. Does this look right?
Yep.
Okay. So we've got this whole neighborhood here, right?
Correct.
Because here's what my experience is. Let's say a guy lives over here on, what is this, Sylvan Court?
Correct.
He's real familiar with the house that burned down on Pheasant Ridge. The whole neighborhood is. When a house burns down, that's a big deal.
Right.
You get down here, over here into this sort of Barrington, Bethany Drive. They're probably aware of this. So I in this little neighborhood over here, I'd make sure that these guys were being mailed and or door hangered pretty frequently with updates on what's going on. This is going to be a good farming technique for you. And I'm just looking at this map and I can see the lots. I'm going to guess that in the main neighborhood that it's in, the little neighborhood over here to the right, probably the one over here with Songbird Way, the one over here across the road with Water's Edge, the little one down here by Bristol and Road 17, and this one over here, I'm going to guess there's probably 300 or 400 homes.
Correct.
Yeah, that's some business that you're going to start to nurture out of that. I would go out on those guys. I would mail them probably weekly.
Yeah, and these are all nice homes in that whole area.
These are the guys that you want to be your customers, right?
The people that can afford to do remodeling.
These are the people that can afford to do remodeling with bail.
Correct.
The river, I'm just taking a wild guess, is probably a pretty big barrier, and the people across the river probably aren't as tuned in to the fact that this house burned down.
No, it's going to be, I think that river would be a barrier. They may or may not be, depending on how you mail to them, you could maybe lead them into that. Maybe they drive by if they weren't doing anything, but the people in that area, I think, already know about this house because it's been sitting there 7 months abandoned.
Yeah. Well,
Big blue tarp on it, too, which kind of stands out.
The people in the immediate neighborhood are going to remember that, and they're going to see it all the time. The people in the surrounding neighborhoods, they probably forgot about it because they don't look at it all the time. But people remember when a house flipping burns down. It's a big deal, especially in a small town, right?
Correct.
So yeah, I mean, let's get some radio going. We could talk about that. Let's get the postcards going. Get those going out. You know, and this doesn't have to be some massively, I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is. It can be very straightforward and simple. Hey, the house that burned down last November or whatever, you know, last July, whenever it burned down, you know, we're going to rehab it starting now. We're going to beautify this neighborhood. Come by and take a look. We're going to be holding an open house. You can check the progress, you know, the second and fourth Saturday of every month, or you know, whenever you want to do it.
I like it.
I think it's kind of an interesting concept. I mean, obviously, you know it's an interesting concept. That's why you're investing the money into doing it. But I think you can get some good play out of this.
Yeah, it's different play. It's different than what your typical advertising might be, which kind of interests me because I thought it might just kind of, sometimes people get bombarded with the same stuff all the time, as you know.
So let me give you some action items.
Okay.
Here's the things that need to happen to make this happen. Number one, you're probably going to want to create a template for a postcard. I would do a postcard so that people can easily see it as they're throwing it in the trash. Oh, you know, we're making progress here. A template for a postcard. You're probably going to want to send mail out at least every other week. I might even do it weekly if it's only 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Some radio scripts, some signs, and then the other thing you need to start thinking about right now is getting your hands on that mailing list for, you know, that job site and maybe a radius around it, or you know, however you define that. So if you want to reach out to Dale, he can maybe help you with that. If you've got another resource, that's good too. But you know, it's certainly something we could help you with. This is an interesting project. In terms of getting it put on your website, that's obviously something we can help you with too, since we built your website.
Right.
So let me just check something real quick here. Yeah, Dale's on this call right now, so he's heard all this. So I'll chat with him a little bit, and you know, we'll figure out how to put something together for you.
Very nice.
And I think that's it. I mean, I don't want to necessarily go into a lot more detail right now, but I think the general concept is fleshed out pretty good.
Yes, thank you, and a great job on that personal edge talk an hour ago. I got a lot out of that. After being in business 30 years, you start thinking of stuff like that. So very well done.
Okay, well, thanks, Tracy. I appreciate that feedback, and look forward to helping you do this. Monopolize the marketplace. Thanks, man.
Thanks for the help. See you.
All right, we'll see you. Okay, that's going to do it. Thanks, everybody, for participating on the Insiders Open Forum. I will be off next week, and we will be back the week after that with a Tuesday morning ad clinic. So enjoy your week off. Go back and listen to some old calls if you've got time, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks so much. See you now. Bye now.
The organizer has ended the session, and